You're listening to the Silver Lined Relaunch, and I'm your host, Hillary DeCesar, award-winning entrepreneur and transitional coach. Each week, I'll invite you to tune into inspirational stories, revealing how you too can turn ordinary experiences into the extraordinary. Feeling stuck? I'll share step-by-step strategies to fuel your ability to experience a life where silver linings are both abundant and possible. All right, welcome to the Silver Lined Relaunch. And these are absolutely my favorite ones that we do. This is a relaunch chick chat. And I have my dear friend, Kelly. And Kelly and I have known each other for, we talked about this, 20 years. In
20
fact,
years.
I'm even going to, I'm even going to say, she called me to say, what year was your youngest? What year was Rosie born? Because that was the year she started working with me at Oracle. So it was funny. I'm like, are you kidding me? All right. So yes, this is a long-term friendship. So
For sure.
Kelly, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. This is so fun, and I get to see your beautiful face.
Well, we were just saying we should be doing this more often because we do have these on Zoom. And so it gives us an opportunity to actually see each other. So Kelly
Yeah.
just moved, she just moved away. And I don't think I don't think I've seen your face in at least a year because of everything that's going on in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So, Cal, I mean, our story goes way back,
Way back.
way back. And it seems like, I mean, from my perspective, I think of it and I see lots of weddings. I see kids, I see multiple jobs, I see switches
Yeah.
and relaunches in careers, and that's when you know you have a true friend who's still sitting across from this Zoom link because dang, we've done it, girl.
Yeah, for
And I
sure.
and I know you're about to have a milestone birthday, which people I'm not
Oh,
even so we're not even gonna discuss which one. It's a milestone. But looking at you, you wouldn't know. That's how good you are. You wouldn't know
thank
which one
you.
of the milestones it is. So we'll keep it at that. It'll be a mystery for everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, so Cal, I want to go back because I do really think you have some of the most unique relaunch stories, specifically around. Let's just start. I'm just going to pull something out, but let's just start with business, right? Let's just go down that path first.
Sure.
Honestly, we could talk about every single area, and we might have an opportunity to do that. But I really want to start with talk to me about the relaunch that you've had in your career and give me a little of that, juicy silver lining as you went through them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there have been a plethora of relaunches, and I like to say a plethora of possibilities.
Mm.
I tend to think of myself as super positive. And what I will say is there have been some challenges with them in terms of exploring who I am and what I want to do with my life. I always feel like I am a student of learning, I am a student of life. When we know something really well, we have the opportunity to teach it. When we don't know something, we have a beautiful opportunity to learn it. And this
Cal,
chapter,
Cal, I love that. That's very profound. I mean, like, I'm writing notes here and I'm like, yeah, student of
it's
learning. I mean,
true, right?
yeah, it really is. It's definitely, you said that so eloquently. Yeah, no
Thank
doubt.
you. Well, I feel like I always have an opportunity to learn. And I think from my earliest career in business, what I've learned most about myself is that I always did what people thought or expected of me to
Mm.
do. You should do this, you should do that. Because honestly, I'll take you way back to college. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I maybe kind of had an idea and thought maybe it would be psychology, but I really wasn't sure. And my dad always said, I think you'd be good in business. So I followed that. I did what they thought. I worked for some great well-known companies. That's how I got to meet you. And I
Mhm.
got some great gifts along the way. But I've really had to go in and figure out what is it that I like? What do I not like? What is it that I want to do? I need to stop pleasing everybody. It's time for me to please me and figure it out.
Was there a
So,
wake up moment? Was there that, moment in time where you're like, I can't be doing everything that everyone else wants me to do. It's time for me to
yeah,
take over.
I think for me, it was, I have a daughter, and there's that point of like, I want to be working, I want to be doing something, and really finding, you know, where's my joy? Where's my heart? And that's
Mm.
kind of started to lead me down the path of exploring things. And really, I have to say, I've had a lot of relaunches because thought, well, I'm interested in this. Maybe I'll try this. I had a personal
We need
chefing business.
we yeah, we need to talk about this because you came to me at Oracle and you said, and you were super successful. I mean, you were crushing it. And all of a sudden you're like, Hillary, I'm I'm not happy doing this. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And I said, well, Cal, okay, what are you thinking about? What are you drawn to? And
Food. I like to cook.
you said food. I think I want to be a chef. And I remember like I had, these grand visions of, how you were going to be this rep and going here and doing this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because you were that outlier, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we were all, especially women in high tech at
yeah,
that point of time, there weren't that many of us.
no,
And for you to be like, you know what? Not in. I'm like, you fought so hard to get here. You're doing so well. You're a natural at this. But you're like, no, my calling. This is not. And
yeah.
it was fascinating because you kept circling back with me and saying, hey, I'm now going to do this. I've got that. And tell us a little bit more about, because I love hearing this part of it, the journey around cooking and food.
Well, I have always loved cooking and food, and I came from a family where both of my parents cooked. Both of my parents were amazing cooks. My mom would cook Japanese. She would make tempura. She would make sushi. My dad was from the South, so he cooked a lot of Southern meals. And I always knew that, you know, the kitchen is where the heart of the house is, and finding love and finding comfort with people. And for me, I was also always really interested in nutrition and health. So I liked that component of it. So I put myself in culinary school, and working for that company helped me to partially pay for, going back to school. So I'm grateful for that. And when I was done, I thought, I want to cook and make meals for women with their families. I want to be able to talk about nutrition. I want to teach them about nutrition. And so I did that for a while. And that was really fulfilling and amazing. But I just always have this mind that's thinking two steps ahead and
No doubt. And I got to
always,
tell you, you were one of the very first home chefs bringing food, doing that. And I was not close enough to be in
yeah.
drivable location. You had to have a certain, and I remember at the time I'm like, okay, how can I possibly drive home via the city just so I could grab some of this, yummy, tasty food? And you were always, you definitely are. You are one step ahead, no doubt.
I think that for me, what I've noticed about myself, the biggest nugget I've gotten from myself lately is that I used to, when I was younger, try to fit into the box. And I've just realized for myself, I don't need to fit in anywhere. It's all about there's room for everyone, and there's room for us to figure out what we want to do and how we want to do it. So that is the wonderful thing about it. And of course, I moved forward, I moved on. Um, and from that I learned too. I also started to miss connection with people. I mean, that's one thing that I really love is connecting people together. I love networking. I love my friends. So for me, there was a component that was missing, and I needed to go to the next level. So I decided to go and get my certificate for nutrition and health coaching, holistic health coaching. And I wanted to put those two things together and working with particularly women about body image, you know, fitting into the box and really allowing people to say, you don't have to fit into a box. You have to fit into your box. You don't have to fit into anything if you don't want to, right? Just figure out for yourself what you want to do, what fulfills you, what makes you happy. And I think for me, it just was kind of going along in life like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to check off the boxes. And I realized that that formula wasn't working for me. And really, formulas are difficult to apply to people.
Mm. Well, and it is, as you said, it felt your journey has been a quest, right?
Yeah.
And each time, what's always fascinated was when you call me and you say, okay, well, I did that and I found out more about myself. And as you said, I need connection to people. It
Hmm.
wasn't enough for me. But hey, I love getting my, culinary degree. I loved, I'm now a fabulous cook. And then you said, now it's time to take this to the next level.
Hmm.
And I do feel like it all as, it's like connect the dots for you.
Yeah.
Each of your progressive steps feels like they are as you said, connecting with people. You connect what you've learned, and it's almost like a lot of times we think everything is random, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at it from the whole, it does appear random. But if you look at how you progress through the job changes and, quite truthfully, the career changes, it all made sense.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's easy for me to connect the dots, and I'm always going for chapter. I mean, my thought was health coach, I'm going to get my yoga certification, and I'm going to have this business where I can help people from a physical, spiritual mindset as well as from a nutritional, holistic healing modality. And I actually ended up getting an injury to my knee, and yoga wasn't working for me. So I morphed into Pilates and I also got my Pilates certification. So all of those things
So
combined.
everyone is listening is saying like, okay, she's like Wonder Woman because she's, been successful in high tech. She's been successful as a chef, successful, as a coach, a fitness, yoga. Now we're into Pilates. Yeah, we haven't even I think we're not even halfway through.
Yeah. But I will say the thing that's connected it is it's important for me. I know what my gift is being of service to people.
Mm,
And so I reached a point in my coaching practice where I knew that I needed a component that was more because clients are going into something deeper and there's a point where you have to stop. And I, in the back of my head, I mentioned it previously in college. I thought I wanted to be in psychology. And I have to say, in college, I didn't do so great in psychology.
mm,
And I'd always heard this narrative like, if you didn't do well, you can't do it. And so, what I've realized now is I've had some challenges in my life. I've lost my parents.
mm.
I've had personal struggles. And I realize that all of those things I have now in, as I reach that milestone stone birthday, really will allow me to help someone. And not only that, Hillary, but I also wanted to find and think, gosh, if I were to go to a therapist, I really don't find any therapists that look like me. And if I maybe had had someone who looked like me, that
Mm.
would have maybe helped me so much. So for me, I am so inspired to say, of all the things that are going on in the world right now,
Mm.
I want to see somebody that looks like me. I want to help people that look like me. I know that I can be an inspiration. I know that as I go through my path, I have that possibility to fulfill what I want to do for myself unapologetically, and that I can rebrand and relaunch myself in a way of getting the education. So you talk to me now in the midst of applying for my master's degree in psychology.
Oh, which there's no doubt you'll get, and it will continue to drive you forward to this place. But now you'll have this, arsenal of all these different facets of you.
Mhm.
And you brought up the fact that somebody like you, and I think that we all are, especially as we midlifers, searching. There's that quest, there's that like feeling of why am I here, what is my purpose, what am I supposed to do. And
Exactly.
there's no doubt, I mean, my gosh, whomever you decide that you're going to want to reach out and help and bring along on your journey when they're exploring their journey, it's going to be incredible. It
Thank you.
really is. Yeah.
I hope so. I think it will be, and I think that all of those things that I have,
Mm.
you know, I can look and approach it, granted I get into the program, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna get into the program.
You are
But
you kidding? It's already done.
but granted, all of those things that I have in my wheelhouse
Mm.
can also take it from, okay, if I have a practice in psychology, I can also monetize that practice and still be of service to people. I have a holistic health coaching background. I have a nutritional background. So I feel in my repertoire exactly what I need to be where I am right now. And especially because of the type of psychology, I want to go into somatic psychology, which is connecting trauma into the body and knowing that your body has a history of where it stores trauma. And
Mm.
for me, I know that my Pilates training will also help me leverage that, will also help me bring that to the table with whoever is sitting in front of me and know that I can be of service to them and help them in that way. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to in this next chapter of my life. I mean, I feel like I'm going to live past 100 and I'm going to be working away because it's fun to do, especially if you think you've found your calling. It's fun. You love what you do.
You mentioned something at the very beginning of this where you said that your parents really wanted you to go down a certain path. And so, for so many of us, we just do that, right?
Hmm.
Mom, dad, they're doing something well, I'll do that. Or there's reasons that they want you to do certain things. And I do think there's a moment where you woke up earlier than most where you're like, you know what? I'm not digging this. This isn't what I really ultimately want to be doing.
Yeah.
And there's been this part of you, serving people from day one when I met you. But why do you think that, you immediately, how long did we work together at Oracle? How long were you there?
I think four
Okay.
years.
So you really, I mean, like I said, everyone listening, she was killing it. She was, I mean, the rocket ship, she was doing so well. And to have her say, you know what, stop, that is something that many of us don't have the opportunity to do. And then you ended up, saying, hey, it helped pay for, your job of 4 to 5 years, and ended up helping pay for the schooling. But now, when you look back, the silver linings of it all, I would ask you, I wouldn't even ask you, I know there's no regrets at all.
Yeah.
You are move forward. This is why I'm doing it. But you mentioned rebranding. Can
Mhm.
you help me and everyone listening understand how these relaunches, these continuous relaunches that you've done, the silver linings behind them at each change.
Yeah. I think the silver linings behind each one is that I've realized that you have to be authentic to yourself. And when we're doing things and we're doing them in a way of, okay, I'm making money, I'm doing well at this, it becomes robotic if there is no authenticity there. And I was sort of feeling like, I can't remember what they call it now. There's a term for it, right? Where you feel like you're living this life, but it's not fulfilling and you're kind of feeling like an imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
Right?
imposter
I think
syndrome.
that's what I've had. And I've gone and done some things and I thought, oh, this really isn't what I want to be doing. I'm really not happy. But what I think the silver lining is that for me, my voice inside of me has always said, "You can be doing this. You can be doing this." And I think the silver lining for me now is that fear is not running me.
Mm.
And I used to let fear really take over and make the decisions for me. And I would listen to that negative voice in my head. And what you can say, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And so for me, I've really had to now re examine and say, you know, when I leave this planet, I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to say, gosh, I didn't try that because I felt like, "Ugh, maybe there wasn't enough time for me to do it. Maybe I, you know," because I know honestly in my heart of hearts, I'd have regrets if I didn't try it. And even if I don't get into school, I'm still going to be applying until I get into school. And I know, right? Because
There's no
this is,
doubt.
and when you know what it is, it's like a beacon calling you, and you're honed in on it, and you look at it and you can focus and you can go for it. So for me, the silver lining is to really live an authentic life. And when I'm doing that, my daughter, who's 15,
Mm.
she gets to see me as a strong role model. She gets to see her mom doing what I want to do in life and going for it.
Mm.
And making sure that it's like, when you're on the airplane, you put the oxygen mask on first. And that way, when you're sustained, then you can help other people. Because if you're not authentic to yourself, people are going to know that. And there's always that underlying unhappiness, and you're always questioning yourself. And I just didn't want to be that person anymore. So
Mm.
it was time to move on.
You've got some golden nuggets in here that we are going to be putting out there as quotes. People are like, I'm sure they're like, oh, I should have written that down. I mean, fear everything and run, face everything and run. I mean, you are really, there are so many people listening. There's so many people that I work with directly in the relaunch company that are so afraid to take a chance.
Yeah.
You have never been afraid to take a chance. And what do you attribute that to?
I think for me, well, honestly, Hill, I can say I have been afraid. It's taken me so long to finally make this decision. But when your inner voice finally, your intuition, I want to say my intuition, my intuition has always been super right on and super strong. And I think to the point where I've always tried to push it down and suppress it. And finally, there's just such a fire in me where I've realized I can no longer suppress it. I have
Mm.
to nurture it. I have to tend to it like a garden, because otherwise, if I can't foster those things that are positive for me, who will?
Mm.
I'm not waiting for anyone to rescue me. I need to rescue myself. And so that's what has to send me forward. And, you know, these days, women, you know, I remember, do we want it all? Can we have it all? Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But have to allow myself to, I don't want to say fail or fall, but be able to make a mistake and be able to reset and then walk ahead
Hmm.
with pride, with pride, and own
Well,
those things.
you know what? That's the thing, as you talk about, it's truly an internal decision, right? It's as
Absolutely.
you said, you can be in the box, you can be out of the box. It's what's right for you. But for those that are on the fence right now, right? They've got a job that they're not that excited about, and they are thinking in the back of their head, they've got this, little like kind of like the initial stages of the what if I did something like took my side hustle or my hobby or an idea to the next level, or tried to go out and get certified in something I'm interested in. You're an inspiration to say, hey, you know do it,
Yeah.
do it. And you never know what, it might not be the end all. As you said, I'm so impressed with all that you've done, and you've got, all these like, educational certificates, and you're going to be, a psychologist someday, I know. And I really want people to realize that as you said, you're now finally doing what you really believe you were supposed to be doing.
Mhm. Yeah.
I feel the same way about the relaunch company. I feel like for, my course that I took was, the dot to dot. I mean, I was all, here and there, and it really followed my life, right?
Yeah.
And what I was doing was relevant to where I was at that time in my life. And now with the world, it's kind of like I feel like, yes, I'm now, the go to company for people who want to restart.
Yeah.
And you are like, that person that has been doing this, again, ahead of the game. And now people are being either forced to because their corporate job has disappeared, or forced to because their job has been eliminated, or they're furloughed, or they're, and there's a lot of people out there that are feeling stuck, are feeling overwhelmed. And your story is inspiring. It's what everyone needs to be thinking right now. As you said, I'm planning to live a long life, and I know we both have lost our parents, and we've been there and supported each other through some very, very, very hard times. And that will be a different chick chat. I'm not quite ready to go there right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but I do believe that this is an opportunity for people to dig deep. You said, be authentic to yourself. You listen to your voice.
Yeah.
It's time to start listening. It's time to really realize, we're realizing, everyone is realizing, life is tenuous. Life is, changes on the dime. And you better be doing something that you really like doing, because,
Absolutely.
otherwise, start doing it.
Yeah. And I think the pandemic has, I'm just going to say for me, my gift of gratitude with the pandemic has been to allow me to sit. It's forced me to sit quiet with my thoughts and
Mm,
not maybe do some of the things, because also I'm up in Northern California in a spot where we have a lot of fires. So
mm,
we've had to stay inside quite a bit because of the smoke. And so I've had this time to forcefully reflect and think about what is it that is my next step to take to get to where I want to go. And I think a lot of people have found themselves in this environment right now where there's this sense of a lack of security, a sense of I don't know what's going to happen next, a sense of really being forced to be with your thoughts
mm,
and being able, I think, for me to quiet my mind and be with my thoughts has helped me to formulate a plan, formulate where I want to go, set my intentions, and go.
mm.
So I think that a lot of people are having that wake up call. Um, you know me, I'm my, crystal bead wearer. And I always think that while we're finding a lot of turmoil in the world, I honestly really feel like we're going to come out. Maybe it's 5 to 7 years, but I'm hoping that we're going to come into a higher vibration of what it really means to be a human being, what it means to live, and what it means to put away the financials, those other things, right? The things that we depend on, right? That we need, but to look within to see I can really do this and I can probably if I have a hobby, maybe I need to take that hobby seriously and really say it's my business. And when I treat it seriously, things will come. When I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, the path will open.
That's amazing. I could go on and on and on. You're so terrific. But at this point, it is that time. This is
Ah,
the time to do a little rapid fire. Are you
okay.
are you have you do you have your seatbelt strapped on? Are you ready to go yet? Okay. These are my questions for you. Number one, Zoom calls dressed head to toe or waist up?
Waist up. Actually, right now I have a dress on, so
Ooh, impressive. You really did bring, I mean, for those that want to see this, remember we do these in video format too. You got to see this. All right, so that's impressive. I'm impressed. I haven't worn a dress in a long time. Number two, how often do you wash your hair?
for me, being a woman of color, once a week. Deep
Oh, okay. Well,
conditioning.
I'm not a woman of color, and I do maybe 1 to 2 times. No, so if I work out, I do a little more.
Well, yeah, for me, my hair, like I need my natural oils being that I've got super coily, curly hair, right?
You got great hair, Cal. I told her everyone when we got on, and I saw her. I'm like, when she does her hair and she lets it just go is when it's my favorite. Like that's the Kelly that
Nice
is,
big hair.
yeah, letting it all out. That's when I know it's free and we are going to dance tonight. All right. So, favorite podcast besides this one?
I've got a couple. I don't know if it's on anymore, but I am right now listening to a podcast called The Call, and it's by a woman, Erica Williams Simon.
Uh-huh.
And I love her because she was a pastor's daughter,
Uh-huh.
and she talks about what are people's calling, much
You know
like
what? I got to check that one out. I have not heard of that one.
you should
Yeah.
check it out and have her on as a guest. She's
Yeah. That's awesome.
wonderful. She's been in politics, she's been in social media, she's done it all.
Mm.
And then the other one right now is I'm a bit of a sci-fi buff. I don't know if you ever knew this about me. That's kind of my nerdy side is I've been like a Doctor Who fan. I love science fiction. Um, so I have been watching the HBO Lovecraft Country series, and there is an accompanying podcast along with it that really dives into all the intricacies of it. And it has been really entertaining and really wonderful to listen to because it just breaks down social constructs and it talks about, you know, um, growing up in this country in the 50s and, just experiencing racism.
Mm. Well,
So,
another, there's, yes, this is awesome. Two of
yeah.
them. Very cool. All right, number 4. I love this beauty product. And what is the name?
The beauty product I love, I have two right now that I'm loving. I use Suki skincare line, and she's got this purifying serum that's just great. Whenever you have a blemish, if I get a blemish, I can just put it on, and literally the next morning, it's almost gone. And there is a other line called KO, KAYO, and I love her products. She's got face grade products, and right now she's got this volcanic pumice wash that you will put on your skin. It's like an exfoliant, and literally you wash off and you feel soft as a baby's bum. Like
Ooh, I need to get that one.
amazing. It's amazing. And I love her. She's this wonderful entrepreneur from Southern California.
Uh-huh.
And I like her products. They're very clean products. Both of those companies have very clean products. And that's my big thing. So
Ooh, I love that. I'll have to check those out. And then backyard barbecue or a schwanky cocktail party?
I would say for me, I'd like the party. I'd do a dance party.
Did I not call it earlier? Yes. And we dance. That is what we do. Okay.
Yeah.
And then a go to poolside drink.
For me, I do mocktails. I don't drink. So I would say any kind of mocktail that's got nice ginger, lemongrass with some sparkling water. I'm good.
Okay. Refreshing. I like that.
Yeah.
And then a bonus question is, what does a powerhouse of possibilities mean to you?
A powerhouse of possibilities means to me uh, that I am walking in my path, walking in the steps that I need to take, that my daughter is happy and healthy. Um, and really for me, that I'm listening to my gut, I'm listening to my intuition, and that I'm uplifting to others. I think that's important to me as well. Yeah.
Oh, I just love you.
Love you too,
Thank
my
you.
dear.
Yeah, this was super fun. Thank you for being on.
Yeah,
Really
thank you for
cool.
having me. This was super fun. I'm so
Yeah, so
happy to
much.
see your beautiful face.
Yeah, so much wisdom. And I know that people are going to be listening and probably listening a second time because there was so much great, inspiring, and truly that you have a way of phrasing things and putting things in a context that makes us all feel it's okay. It's okay to admit that, you know what, I'm not where I want to be, but I know I can get there.
Exactly.
Oh, mwah. Hal, thanks again.
Thanks, Lovey.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you felt a connection to this episode of the Silver Lined Relaunch, please head over to iTunes now. It would mean so much to me if you would leave a good review and help others find silver linings as well. And don't forget, you can have immediate access to all of the bonuses and notes from the show today in our treasure chest, which you have access to for free by texting 55444 and typing in treasure chest. Or you could go to our private Facebook group, The Relaunch Effect, Living a Life You Love. Together we've hit the reset button for you, turning your transitions into a transformation. Until next time, don't forget, there's always a silver lining.